But here's the kicker: most speakers focus too much on their content and not enough on how they connect with their audience. The truth is, if you don't keep your audience engaged, they will tune out fast. In fact, research suggests that we lose attention after just 10 minutes if we're not engaged. That's why knowing how to keep your audience hooked from start to finish is essential for any great speaker. In this video, you'll discover 6 powerful strategies that will change the way you speak forever. From captivating your audience in the first few seconds to ending with a bang, we'll show you how to hold their attention, keep them engaged, and leave a lasting impact. So, if you're ready to become a speaker who not only holds the room but keeps people talking long after your speech, stick with me. Let's dive in. Chapter 1: Magnetic First Impressions. Own the stage from the start. The first few seconds of a speech are crucial. Research shows that the human brain takes just 7 seconds to make a judgment about someone. That means your audience will form an opinion about you before you even say a word. So, how can you make a lasting impact? Start with confidence. Stand tall, make eye contact, and use purposeful gestures. These small physical actions send a strong message to your audience: you're in control and you're ready. Your opening should instantly spark curiosity. Imagine you're a magician. The secret to great magic isn't the trick itself, it's the anticipation. A killer hook at the beginning, like a thought-provoking question or a powerful statement, can instantly grab attention. For example, what would you do if you weren't afraid to fail? This instantly makes your audience start thinking. A study by the University of California found that the way we present ourselves visually influences the way we are perceived. So, if you appear confident, your words will carry more weight. And don't forget to smile. Smiling not only makes you seem more approachable, but it also makes your audience feel more at ease. Another way to make a great first impression is by telling a brief personal story. This creates an emotional connection right from the start. People connect with people, not just ideas. If you share a relatable moment, your audience will immediately feel like they know you. This helps to humanize you and create rapport. Lastly, slow down your speech. Studies show that when you speak too fast, it can make your audience feel overwhelmed and disengaged. A slower, deliberate pace gives you time to emphasize key points and keeps the attention on you. Remember, quality over speed. Chapter 2: The Art of Storytelling. Weave magic with every word. Storytelling is one of the oldest and most powerful tools in human history. We remember stories better than raw data. In fact, research from Princeton University reveals that our brains actually sync up when we listen to stories. This means your audience will feel more connected to you when you tell a compelling narrative. Start by creating a narrative arc. Every great story has a beginning, middle, and end. The beginning grabs attention, the middle builds tension, and the end provides resolution. By following this structure, you'll guide your audience through the experience with ease. One of the most effective ways to use storytelling is by sharing personal struggles and triumphs. According to author Brené Brown, vulnerability builds trust. When you open up about your own challenges, it makes you more relatable and humanizes you in the eyes of your audience. Plus, vulnerability helps to keep your audience emotionally invested in what you have to say. Don't forget the power of sensory details. Instead of saying, "I felt nervous," describe the physical sensations. "My hands were sweaty, and my heart pounded in my chest." This makes the story more immersive and allows the audience to feel what you're feeling. Another tip is to use humor. Humor has been shown to increase retention by as much as 47%. When you make your audience laugh, they're not only entertained, but they're more likely to remember the key messages you're sharing. Just be careful with humor, it should always feel natural and appropriate for the topic. Finally, don't just tell your audience what happened, show them. Use vivid descriptions and create vivid mental images. For example, instead of saying, "It was a tough time," say, "It felt like I was walking through a storm, with no shelter in sight." These types of descriptions can draw your audience into the story and make them feel like they're experiencing it with you. Chapter 3: Engagement Overload. Interactive tools that make them speak. One of the most effective ways to keep your audience engaged is to involve them in the conversation. People love feeling included, and when they participate, they're more likely to stay engaged. But how can you get them to interact? Let's dive into some strategies. Start with a simple question. Asking, "How many of you have experienced this?" encourages people to raise their hands, nod, or even speak out loud. This breaks down the barrier between you and the audience. You're no longer just talking at them, you're interacting with them. A great tool for live interaction is polling. Platforms like Slido or Kahoot allow you to create instant polls, asking your audience questions in real time. In fact, a study by PwC found that interactive sessions can increase participant retention by up to 60%. These tools let your audience provide instant feedback, keeping their attention while also making them feel like active participants in your presentation. You can also turn your presentation into a challenge. Ask your audience to solve a problem or brainstorm solutions. Giving them something to work on engages their minds and prevents them from zoning out. This makes them feel like they're contributing to the conversation rather than passively receiving information. Interactive quizzes are another excellent way to boost engagement. For example, ask questions that tie directly to the key points you've just made. This reinforces learning and gets your audience thinking. Plus, people love a good quiz. Studies show that quizzes can boost retention rates by 40%, so don't be afraid to incorporate a few into your talk. Another technique to engage your audience is through physical movement. Have them stand up, stretch, or do a quick icebreaker activity. These small breaks can reset attention spans and keep the energy high throughout your presentation. But don't rely solely on technology. A simple shout-out can also work wonders. When you directly acknowledge a member of your audience, you make them feel seen and valued. This builds rapport and keeps everyone involved in the experience. Just be sure to keep the tone positive and inclusive. The key takeaway here is that engagement isn't just about talking, it's about creating a dialogue. The more you can involve your audience, the more engaged they will be. By asking questions, using interactive tools, and offering opportunities for participation, you'll ensure that your audience is active, not passive, throughout your entire presentation. If you're finding these strategies helpful so far, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more tips on mastering the art of public speaking. Chapter 4, The Drama of Pauses, Silence That Speaks Volumes. We've all heard speakers who talk a mile a minute, and let's face it, sometimes it's hard to keep up. But what if I told you that silence can be just as powerful as speaking? The pause is one of the most underused tools in public speaking, yet it holds immense power. Research shows that when a speaker pauses for just a few seconds, it allows the audience time to digest the information and anticipate what's coming next. Silence can build suspense and keep attention locked. Think of a great actor or storyteller. They don't rush, they know that a well-timed pause is just as dramatic as their words. A study by the University of Chicago found that well-placed pauses enhance the memorability of your message. When you pause after making a key point, it gives the audience time to absorb and reflect. The best speakers understand the rhythm of their delivery. A dramatic pause before an important line can create tension, while a pause after a big idea can make the audience sit in awe, waiting for more. One simple rule: don't be afraid of silence. The longer you speak without pausing, the less impact your words will have. Another benefit of pauses is that they give you a moment to collect your thoughts. Instead of rushing to fill the silence, you can use that time to gather your next point or connect with your audience on a deeper level. Pauses can also help you calm your nerves and regain composure if you feel overwhelmed. It's important to note that the effectiveness of a pause is tied to timing. Too many pauses can disrupt the flow of your speech, but too few might make your audience feel like they're missing something. The key is finding the balance and using pauses to accentuate your message. Finally, don't overlook non-verbal pauses. The use of body language, like stopping your movement or holding eye contact, can enhance the power of a pause. It's a subtle but effective way to communicate confidence and control. Chapter 5, Vibe Check, Reading the Room and Adjusting in Real Time. Every great speaker knows how to read the room. Your audience's energy is constantly shifting, and it's your job to notice it. A great speech is not just about delivering content, it's about connecting with your audience at that moment. Studies show that when speakers adjust their tone or pacing based on the audience GY136 6 ways to keep your audience engaged ease reactions, they maintain higher levels of engagement. For instance, if you notice people are distracted, a sudden change in your delivery, like raising your voice or asking an unexpected question, can snap them back to attention. Understanding body language is also key. If your audience is leaning forward, it's a sign they're engaged. If they're slouching or looking at their phones, it's time to change gears. There's a concept called emotional contagion, where people subconsciously mirror the emotions of those around them. If you're energized, your audience is more likely to feel energized too. A study from Harvard University found that the emotional tone set by a speaker can affect the audience's mood and attentiveness. So, when you bring positive energy, it can shift the entire atmosphere of the room. One way to test your audience's mood is by asking a question or making a quick poll. This immediate feedback will tell you how the crowd is reacting to your content. If their responses aren't quite what you expected, you can adjust your delivery. You might slow down, add a joke, or even dive deeper into a topic they seem particularly interested in. It's also important to stay aware of distractions in the room. A phone buzzing or a loud conversation can pull attention away. If you notice this happening, address it in a subtle way, like making a light-hearted comment or pausing to regain their focus. Adjusting in real time isn't just about changing your delivery, it's about being authentic and responding to the energy of the room. The best speakers know when to speed up, slow down, add humor, or change their tone, all based on the vibe of their audience. This adaptability keeps people interested and engaged, making them feel like you're speaking directly to them. Chapter 6. End with a bang. Leave a lasting impact. The way you end your speech is just as important as how you start. It's the final impression, the last chance to make your message stick. In fact, a study from the University of York shows that people are more likely to remember the final few minutes of a speech than any other part. So how can you create an ending that leaves your audience wanting more? First, your conclusion should tie everything together. Avoid introducing new ideas at the end. Instead, revisit your main points and connect them to your opening. This gives your audience a sense of closure and reinforces the key messages you've shared. One of the most powerful ways to end is by asking a thought-provoking question. It could be something like, "What are you going to do with this information now?" This prompts your audience to reflect on how they can apply what they've just heard. It also gives them a sense of ownership over the message, making it more likely to stick with them. Another great ending strategy is to use a call to action, CTA. Encourage your audience to take the next step, whether it's signing up for a newsletter, following you on social media, or applying your advice. A CTA provides a clear takeaway that keeps your message active long after the speech is over. If you really want to leave a lasting impact, try ending with a story. People remember stories. In fact, neuroscientist Paul Zak has found that storytelling releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone, which makes people feel more connected to you and your message. A touching or inspiring story at the end can leave your audience feeling deeply moved. Finally, don't forget to thank your audience. A simple, "Thank you for your time," shows appreciation and leaves a positive final impression. But be sure to say it with sincerity. An authentic thank you can leave your audience with a warm feeling, making your speech more memorable. If you enjoyed these tips, make sure to subscribe for more powerful speaking strategies that will elevate your communication skills. Thank you for watching, and remember to leave your audience inspired every time you speak.